Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Shadowverse. So, we're one leader left with Chapter 7 Seeds of Conflict, and in Rowan's story they introduced a gym and they gave frankly too complicated of a backstory to the Forest Shadow, the guy that goes by the name Forest Shadow, or title of that. It was too complicated. It came too late into his story. It doesn't really still explain whether he's going to be the real big bad guy in the next episode or what. And meanwhile, I think Eris is just going to take the role of Yuan, and her story is going to be the one that somehow wraps the other three characters' stories together and like explains everything that's going on. And then most of the characters have gotten 10 or 11, mostly 11 chapters, so there's not a lot of time to do it compared to previous episodes where you were getting 12 or 13 chapters. I could imagine myself kind of checking out of this story because there's not been
separated once more.
Oddly enough, I've been applauding the fact that they haven't repeated a chapter at the beginning and a chapter at the end. Of course, to accomplish that, they've also reduced the number of chapters. But now we have this complaint where the different characters' stories aren't really integrating and overlapping enough,
Let the investigation begin.
which there kind of has to be more overlapping. Otherwise, we're just being told the story of 4 separate people.
A denizen of this world, but it seems quite different from Tetra. I should try to communicate with it. Perhaps it has seen the others.
This would be a great point for Eris to reveal she's still working with Nexus. Or for Nexus to try and communicate
Access
to her.
points detected. Check-in key complete. Voice files found. Playing files recorded on Red Moon 25th, 283 PHR.
Well, that sounds like computer technology.
And production lines have ceased activity. Everyone in the 179th ward is starving. Yesterday brought the death of yet another child. Mayor, this is our final warning. Open the ward barrier.
Noble children of the great 12th ward, welcome. You, as chosen second-tier citizens,
It
will
does seem like there
henceforth enjoy the
was
highest level of education.
a
You are
scientific
first throughout history to receive
like
such an honor.
civilization here before,
If you will,
which
allow
I
me
thought
to
this
provide
might
a
be the
brief
case.
explanation about the
Now,
ergo mechanism.
the
You
question
see,
will be,
fundamentally, it's a set of
is this
energy distribution processes that
world
work to bring
the same
modern
world as
comforts into our
Tetra's
everyday
thousands of
lives?
years in the future? Or is it just a different world
I
that's
can't make
somewhat
tails or
similar?
whiskers of this one either. More useless information. Lord Valdane deserves better than this.
Excuse me.
And honestly, the fact that there
Identify
is
yourself.
some kind
Forgive
of
me for startling
ancient
you. My
technology
name is Eris.
in history here
How long were you watching?
should have been
Wait a
teased
minute. Were you sent by Skull to spy on all major
in the other 3
monsters?
characters' story.
No, I simply...
Of course you're a spy. Why else would you be trailing a respected military officer of Managarmer? I'll teach you to mess with us.
Please
It's gonna be
wait.
fairly funny
I
to
beg you no ill
end up
will,
fighting
and I have no connection with this
Captain
Skull
Fluffy Butt
organization.
here.
Oh, exactly what a tender-clawed skull scoundrel would want me to believe. Have at you, coward! Ah!
But yeah, with this one first section, we already kind of know where this is going now. That the Verga Magmar is not really a like elemental goddess of the forest that breathes life into everything. Instead, it's going to be some kind of mechanical thing that is leaking or damaged and is causing the blight because of that. And it may very well mean that all of the creatures in the forest are actually mechanical and they just look like they're organic.
How are you so strong?
I do not wish to harm you, creature. Will you please calm down?
So now I guess
I am calm.
it's just in the
Don't fraternize
details.
with enemies. Wait, did you hear that?
Is it really just going to be in the details about what we see and what we hear, and what gets really revolved and what gets left for the next chapter, the next episode?
Creature behind me. Hurry. Are you
I
injured?
wonder if we'll get much more
Of course
story
not.
as
Maybe
far
my
as
fur's a
Misty.
little ruffled, but that's all. Anyone can handle a blighted fairy.
If we
you
think
know.
about the previous
Very.
episode, there
Yes,
was
who
the
doesn't know
young
what a blighted
sister
fairy
robot
is?
Aeon,
Makes me
who
wonder if
had
that funny hat
like
of
one
yours
chapter
isn't
with
a little
Luna
too
that
tight.
gave some backstory, but then she really didn't get
It's
any
common
more
knowledge
story
all
or
around
back
Terra that Viridian
story for
magmas
her.
blighted the wildlife, both natural and supernatural. How did you miss something so
So,
elementary?
I wouldn't be surprised if Mouskers
I'm-
kind of
well,
disappears. I wouldn't be surprised if Misty
I'm not
kind of
certain whether I should trust this
disappears.
cat-like creature or
I wouldn't be
not.
surprised if
But it would
Baleon
be best to
and
avoid unnecessary
and
conflict.
everyone else kind
I
of
shall attempt
just
to
show
tell
up in
it
some fights, but don't really
in
get a lot
the
more
truth.
backstory or characterization.
Well, out with it already.
I have come from a different world, and as such, I have no knowledge of this realm.
Not a single one of
At
the
least,
leaders
none aside from the fact that it is facing destruction.
have
Now
tried
that
to
you
hide
mention
the
it,
fact that they're
I've never
travelers.
seen pump-rump clothing like that before. You're really an otherworlder?
Correct. I have never set foot on a Terra.
Give us a minute to process all this. She's far too suspect. But she's as powerful as she is mysterious. Lord Valdane might praise me if I bring her back to the base.
I apologize for how confusing this may seem.
No, it's fine. If you're really from another world, then
The-
you'll need
the
someone to
thing-
show you around, I assume.
I think they
Show me
did
around? To
with
where
Mouskers and Arissa, where
To my
Arissa
Lord Valdane's
just
base.
found him
He's a
super cute
benevolent man,
and
he's as
gave him a
knowledgeable
cute
as he is
nickname.
kind.
honestly
So if you're looking for
that should
someone,
have been
it
a
would
running
definitely
gag
be
that
worth your
Arissa did
time to
in
meet
every
with him.
world she met.
I have in
That-
fact been separated.
That there was just
from
always
second
going to be
companion.
some kind of
Would
cute
this Lord Valdane know of their
character,
whereabouts?
and she would always
Without a doubt. He
like,
knows more about the forest
be
than
hyper
anyone
excited
else.
meeting that cute character. I could see that.
You don't trust old
that
Major
happening
Meowskers? What? I've got the most
fairly
trustworthy
easily,
whiskers in the
actually.
woods.
They would give you
I
good
suppose
excuse
I
to
no
have
other course of
kind of a
action.
cute comedic character
Please
in
guide
each
me to your lord,
episode.
Meowskers.
Knew you'd come around. Let's pip-pop away then.
I am not certain if following this creature will lead to this world's salvation.
Of course, they are also
But
opening
even
the
if it
door
is a
to
fool's errand,
talking
must do
animals
something.
and just less anthropomorphic, less humanoid creatures appearing in the story, which I guess is fine. And that's not really gonna ruin the story, in my opinion.
Lord
But
Valdane's base
it does
is
seem
just
like we
ahead.
probably are gonna
Don't
spend
fall behind.
some time with Lord Valdane, and
Meowskers, is something the matter?
after just
I
doing
smell
Rowan's
something.
story,
Hep, delicious.
I don't think I would
Wait,
want
I
to spend too much
recognize that
time
scent.
fighting him
It's musk
once
fruit.
again, or listening to him talk.
Please, don't run off.
Ready back. Set your peepers on this.
Oh my. It has quite a vivid color.
That's musk fruit for you. But it's not just a looker. It's
Musk
tangy
fruit.
and delicious too.
That's a
Haven't
terrible
seen one
name
with
for a
my own
fruit.
eyes in ages.
Then we were quite lucky to come across such a rare specimen.
Long ago, you could find them anywhere, and they were eaten regularly. But after the vile mother started to wake up and blight the land, that's why we have to give Viridia Magna the old 1-2 before it's
You
too
could
late.
potentially
Before she causes this whole
give a
world
new
to wither
forest
away.
craft style player in the collectible card game
Ah, you're
have
looking in
cards
touch-up
that are
form, Scout.
like
Anything to report in the area?
movable, intelligent plants. That would be an interesting idea.
Found another member of the suppression squad done in by
Kind of like a
private
poison
spirits.
ivy type character.
Poor soul.
Hmm.
At this rate, we're going to meet the same fate as our ancestors.
Really would be about the same
Fate?
concept if
Guess
instead
you
of
wouldn't know. Viridia Magna
summoning
destroyed this
1
world
mana,
once
1
before.
attack, 1 defense fairies, you'd summon like 1/1/1
The
vines
ancients built an advanced
or
civilization,
plants.
but that didn't stop our dear mother
Weeds.
from annihilating them.
Devastation will come once more? Is such cruelty inherent to this world? Surely it is not so simple.
Well, anyway, right tight work out there, Scouts.
I guess there's a
Take this and
question
split
when
it
they
amongst
come to
yourselves.
worlds like
Is
this,
this
if
musk
Nexus
fruit?
showed up
Major, we can't
and tried to
accept
put
this.
people asleep,
Of course you
would
can.
people like Mouskers
earned
be
it.
put asleep or trapped in a dream?
Thank you, sir.
Or would they
We won't
escape
forget
like the
this.
original 4 leaders?
Great glittering yarn balls! What's going on?
Far too many people crashing into people at this point.
Run for your life! She's coming!
Pull yourself together, soldier. Who?
The breaker of faces, the smasher of dreams, the Stoneclaw!
We didn't see Stoneclaw
Possible. Oh,
at
we'll never
all
get out of
in
here.
Rowan's
Everyone
story.
retreat.
Oh, awesome. Way more of you punks over here, huh?
Which she still talks very weird, but
How did she keep up?
Claws
But
of
I kinda
stone and
still
paws
like her
the wind. You're
as a
just lucky
character.
To be alive, Scout.
This is school turf, my dudes. Get lost or get dead.
There is no need for violence.
Huh?
I understand there is some sort of dispute between you, but there is little meaning in harming each other.
You're not wrong, sis, but this is like my job, so...
Then you have no intention of withdrawing.
Can't say I do.
That is most unfortunate.
kind of feels like Stoneclaw is like the only fighter of the Skull group, really. Or the only one worth mentioning.
Almost.
She's strong. How much power is hidden within her frame?
And you definitely have a point here where
Mouskers needs my protection.
Ladika would have been...
You sure? Looks to me like he's already hiding
They
in
haven't
an area.
actually said her name, but they're just telling her.
Mouskers!
Like,
Sorry, lass.
she could have been
Seems like you have things under control.
in love
Good
with
luck.
Balon. And then it could have turned out differently
Ouch,
than
sis. That's got a sting.
the
guess we can stop
under
now.
marshal of the Blade Rights and
Look, my job is
the
to run off any
Beast
mana
character,
idiots that come looking for pain. You don't sound like one of them,
which
so fighting you's a waste
that
of time.
that didn't work
Speaking
out.
of smells, yours reminds me of someone really cute. Arisa?
Wait, you've met her?
Oh, so you do know
So it'll be
her.
interesting, I
That's
guess,
cool. If you're looking for
to
a
see if she
reunion or
hits on
whatever,
her.
She's with the boss man right now. Mabes.
Boss man? Is that your leader? Would you take me to him?
Alright. Give me a hand, honeydew. You can trust me.
She does.
My hand? Whatever for?
She does kind of
Why not? I dig soft hands.
flirting,
Excuse me. Dig?
flirting with every female she
Just
meets.
Like I thought. Soft as silk. And your fingers are so slim. You an angel or something?
This is quite embarrassing. Please refrain from staring at me like I'm some sort of fantastic creature.
She might
Well,
actually be an
honeydew
angel,
gets what honeydew
for all we
wants.
know.
Come on, let's go.
Thank you. Oh, heavens, please have her release my hand soon.
Yeah, it feels like Ladika should have had some kind of interaction with Rowan, where she embarrassed him too and hit on him, so that they could just say she's an equal opportunist. I guess aggressive sexual person or aggressively friendly type person. Or you have her interact with Rowan and say, "Oh, I have no interest in men at all."
This is where Baleon resides?
But
Get the guards! Managama's returned!
she as a character doesn't
Is anyone protecting Lord
doesn't seem
Baleon?
very well written, as she just kind of
Seems we've come at
feels
a
off
dangerous time.
feels like she's written as an overly friendly lesbian who is also overpowered as a fighter, which isn't that interesting, who also has a weird way of talking
Two opposing sides
that
finding themselves
makes
in
her hard to
conflict.
relate to.
An all too familiar story.
And I guess her weird way of talking is supposed to be a hint that the past
Is everything all right?
is in question.
All right. Some jerks
But
from Managama managed to nab Arisa and Baleon couldn't
It,
save her.
it
He
doesn't
might be a
really
king, but the only
point
thing he
towards
rules at
anything
is
yet.
sucking. Lol.
What? They have captured Arisa. We must hurry to rescue her.
I guess what would be
It's
really
fine,
funny is that
fine, I'll
it turned
handle
out
it.
that this
You just go
world
talk to
was
Baleon.
supposed to be the real world, Earth, like the world
Save it for when I get
outside
back.
of the video
That way.
game.
Have fun.
Latika!
And
She's gone.
but
What a fiery
then you would
spirit.
kind of still have to explain how
Oh, Arisa.
how so much stuff would have changed.
Hey, we've got another bizarre lass over here!
Don't just stand there!
And these guys are just labeled as radicals.
You must be from Managarmr, you scoundrels.
Sorry to do this to you, but we need a hostage to make it out of here.
Do you feel no shame in stirring conflict?
Oh yeah, I guess it is worth remembering that
Yet you and your companions continue to
two
run
of
amok.
these people did take
Well,
a
it's not like we want bloodshed. Blame the
a-
cards of Skull if you need to blame
they took
someone.
Arisa as a hostage before.
The Fire Mother has to die. There's no other way to save Naterra. Enough.
Particularly if the Vile Mother turns out to just
So
be
the
a
coward king finally leaves
to
his
be a
den.
machine.
Can you stand?
Although I'm not sure that
Thank you.
breaking the machine or turning off the machine
Find shelter. I will
is
come
the
for you
right
later.
solution, because it may be the only thing keeping life alive on the planet.
As you wish. You take the one on the right.
Very well. To combat.
We don't see Baleon fight enough. And I guess you don't really get to see him fight at all, because you don't ever get to play as him. Which gets back to the idea of
Suffered enough.
if the
Leave this
travelers
place,
were just like
unless you
trapped
wish to endure
in
more
the
pain.
heads of
Damn you!
new characters,
Shameful display.
that would be more interesting. Then here we have the Gina,
Greetings, King Baleon.
which
How like you to keep such strange company.
she again did not show up at all,
Anyway, thanks for
in
providing my
Arisa or
troops with a
Erica's
valuable
story.
lesson in humility.
which
You've lost.
kind of makes it almost seem like Erica and Arissa's story may have come out like a few months before Rowan and Erissa's story. Which I don't know why you would do that. Like, I don't know why they would release any of the main story if it wasn't, if an entire episode wasn't written, animated, and ready to go.
Forget them for now.
Because
tell me, brave stranger,
I seriously doubt any fans of Shadowverse, of the collectible card game part of Shadowverse, the actual game part, are gonna complain if no main story was released.
Forest King. Even if that's in title only.
Particularly if you remember that Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering Arena don't have any main stories at all, and pretty much no other collectible card game I've ever played has ever had a main story more than anything more than just a very short tutorial section.
Why are the peoples of Natera in conflict? Viridia Magna threatens to eradicate this world, does she not?
We're getting some repeated conversation here.
Correct. But the virtuous mother has also blessed us, given us life. You see, Viridia Magna designed this world, populated it with life, and breathed ether into its roots. No one knows whether she created us directly, but that doesn't change the fact that we owe her everything. Even should we fall to
I
our
still
mother's
don't
plight,
know how the
if it is
story
her
really
will,
ends
who are we to
if
challenge her?
they realize
We
that
certainly can't
this
execute
is
her actions
Tetra's
well within
world
her
1,000
rights.
years in the future.
More importantly,
It only makes sense if they actually make it to Viridia Magna and realize that it is some kind of cryo chambers, stasis pods, or time bubble that holds the 4 previous heroes from in the previous episode and Belphomet.
Before she causes this whole world to wither away.
And see, it would be really funny if it turned out that Urias just bit the 3 other previous leaders and turned them into vampires, and so you just find like 4 coffins of the 4 previous leaders, and they all rise as vampires. I mean, you could have a whole episode around something like that. That would be an amazing twist, to then spend the next episode in a vampire world seeking the cure to vampirism.
As king of this forest, I know all of the names of my subjects.
But that would also be too creative for this game.
Is not native to this realm.
What? But how can that be?
There's like 3 different people that claim they know the name of everybody in the land, which does inherently imply that there's very few people in the world.
But after seeing Tetra's countenance, this world does appear a bit organic by comparison.
I'm afraid you will not be able to assist.
I'd also argue that Tetra did not look at all really like a robot. She was an android, very humanoid, in a leather catsuit with like bikini armor. That she would have looked perfectly compatible with this world. They should have, if they were planning to do this and thought things better, they should have made her look like a robot, like giving her a robotic arm or something, like half her face being missing and looking robotic or something. And then we had a flashback back to Marlon, who, since he's a character who's, I believe, dead at this point, he's kind of pointless to bring him to do a flashback.
Perhaps we can avoid its repetition.
Then I'm to delve into the past of this world?
Of course.
So it seems like Balion's gonna send her on the journey to
becoming more
search the
and more
history
aggressive. I'm afraid
and search
I
the
can't
ruins.
continue the search on my own. As an outsider from another world, you may be perfect for the task.
I also don't
Novel insight and
think I can
understanding may be
honestly
what we'll
believe that
need to
there will
unearth
be
an end to the
some
destruction.
long-running theme or narrative or
I'm
journey
not certain if I
that
can
the
fulfill
main
such an important
characters
role.
are actually going through. I
However,
don't feel like they're
if
gonna
this presents the
learn
best
a
hope for the
lesson
Terran,
from
I will
chapter
readily
1 or
comply.
chapter 2, and that is
Thank you.
going
Your
to
fervor is
logically
heartening.
lead to them
There
learning
is
a different lesson
certain
in chapter
tool
3 or
that will
chapter
allow you to
4
access
that
information recorded
all
by the
at some
ancient
point,
ones.
if the story ever
I
ended,
would give it
which
to
the
you,
story almost certainly
but
will
alas,
never end,
Oh,
because the game will just get cancelled and they won't bother to write an
Now I
ending
just hold the slate
unless they want to make
here,
a sequel,
and voila!
which I don't know why you'd make a sequel to a
Access
collectible
points
card
detected.
game.
Check-in key complete. Voice files found. Playing files recorded on Red Moon 25th, 283 PHR.
See what do you
Leon, is
PHR
this tool
stand for?
perhaps a glowing slate of some sort?
You've already seen it.
Hmm.
Well, I was right to trust you with the excavation.
Yes, but before I begin, I think you understand that I would like something in return.
I will find your allies while you are away. Latika should have no trouble tracking them down with that nose of hers.
I think
I truly
the best
appreciate
case scenario
Farewell,
really would
Leon.
be that
I pray fortune favors
throughout
us.
the episodes going forward, all of the characters will
The
eventually
future
just
of this
become
world depends on the lessons I
kind
can
of
learn from its
perfected
past.
heroes
And my
with
search begins with locating that peculiar
small
cat creature, Meowskers.
personality traits,
But he
but
seemed to
no
regard that
major
space with great
flaws
importance.
and no
I
major
imagine he won't
weaknesses.
give it up so readily.
And I imagine at that point the story would just kind of teeter with them fighting enemy after enemy until they finally decide to have them take on the last of the keepers, or even if they defeated the keepers at that point and introduced a new enemy, they will take out that new enemy. Like,
This is where I was before.
effectively
And I
kind of the
believe Meowskers is
same
headed in that direction.
as Dragon Ball Z, where
There should be somewhere
Goku
nearby.
as a character maintains his personality. He doesn't really
Picking me up,
change
tussing up my fur.
as a
Doesn't she
character. He
understand
just
the
gets
effort I go
more
to keep it
powerful and the
silky
power
and
creep goes
smooth?
up. And then
And on
as they
top of that,
continue down
fluff
Dragon Ball
tough and
Z
scratch
story,
outposts.
they less and less
Stone
focus
Claw
on
coming out of nowhere and
Goku
beating us up.
and more start focusing on new characters that had
Hello,
been
new
introduced
Meowskers.
to have
I
less
realize we
developed
barely
characters,
just parted, but
and watch them grow as
You
people.
made it out alive.
of course, it seems you too escaped with your tail intact.
Apologies for mousing out on
She
you
has a
before.
tail?
Old Stone Claw is a brutal foe, and I'm not.
I
one
mean,
for
that's
being a
how that
prisoner
would
of
translate
war.
to.
Worry not,
You,
friend, I do not
TOO
bleed.
means also escaped with your tail intact, which means she has a tail.
Oh, that's a load off my mind.
Which that would be
I
a
do,
funny
however,
twist.
have a request. That is, if you will hear me.
Yeah? I guess it depends.
That glowing slate, would you temporarily entrust it to me?
What? But it's just a rock.
It is crucial to saving Natera, Meowskers. Please, lend me your aid.
I can't. And how do you know about this thing anyway? Unless you're one of them. You've banded with that bunch of cowards. That's why the Stone Claw didn't make mincemeat out of you. Oh, she would have smacked anybody else into oblivion.
Meowskers,
Yep, we're
you and I both want to
running
save
into
this world.
friction in this
Our
story.
goals are aligned. You must see reason.
This is probably a great point where they should
Giving
just
up the
jump
slate, not
into
to
a fight.
spoil scum.
But Meowskers,
Let's have it.
You know you've
Incredibly
got a lot of
weak
puffed
attack.
up nerve making demands of us. Not when your side insists on kicking back for the apocalypse.
Can you not see that I am attempting to act? I would not squander this opportunity.
For all I know, you
This is
hide
a
it
lot
away
of talking.
just to sabotage us.
A lot of talking.
Understand, Meowskers, that I have no intention of choosing a side in your conflict. Knowing that, will you still refuse my request?
Obviously, you spy! You scallywobbler!
Very well. I had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but you leave me no choice.
Yeah, you could have easily cut out 2/3 of that conversation
Stop this foolishness, Meowskers.
to just have the story move forward faster.
Not while they're still fighting my paws!
And see, this event and this action really doesn't do anything.
Won't you at least consider?
Like, it just kind of shows that Mouskers is not completely pathetic
That
and
worked.
builds his character.
I mean, of course it did.
A little bit,
Better
but
get out
not
of here
by
while I've
much.
got all my 9 lives.
Oh, vengeful radiance! Oh, my eyes. I put too much into that spell.
Did she flash herself in the
Gotta
eyes?
get away while she's distracted.
He's gone. We have the same hope for this world.
So
It is a
she
shame I could not convince him to trust me.
she's such a bad fighter that she blinded herself
What's this? Oh, vengeful radiance!
with her own attack. Wow. And I guess if that's the story you wanted to tell with Eris, is to have her just be pathetically weak. That would have been fine. Although I don't know if it really helps.
In order to fend off the encroaching crisis, I must use whatever means I can. Meowskers.
I don't know if you need Eris as a character at all in the story. Like she really is just a non-character in all the previous episodes. We've already seen this section, so this is just going to be repeated content.
Thank goodness you're all right. That's a load off my mind.
I am relieved to see that you are safe as well. You have a glowing slate, just like mine?
Oh yeah. Is it just me, or do they seem to be reacting to each other?
Yes, that seems to be the case. I was told these slates are tools for unearthing the history of this
Once again, they've mistranslated this to slate when it should have been crystal or gem.
Why don't you take this one too?
There really is no reason to not have animated these as having some kind of necklace piece or rope tied around them, instead of them just magically attaching to the chest of the characters.
Not sure yet. They very well could be, but at the same time,
suppose we could mention the angles that they draw the characters with their hips to the side really would not line up with the idea of balancing a gem on your chest. So you'd have to be leaning a little bit further back.
Please be careful.
I will. We 4 are the only ones who ended up in this world, so we need to work together.
It's only the 4 of us?
We were probably separated due to some sort of interference by the Keepers. I imagine the other 4 were sent to Tetra's world, while the 4
Once
of us
again,
were sent into
if the
Terra.
Keepers could only interfere so much as to send 4 people to the wrong place,
It's not all gloom and doom.
why did they
We may
choose
be split up, but the others have our favorite
the 4
little
people that could probably
Do you mean
be the most helpful?
Yep. We don't have to worry about them knowing he's there, which means we can focus our full attention on solving things here.
You're right, Rowan. I shall
I'm not
go
sure if
on
this is actually the
with
same
this
conversation they had
I
before.
feel that an important clue lies in the past.
It probably was. I was probably just not paying attention.
Indeed, it won't be.
Yeah, we're constantly running into
It
that
is
problem
reassuring to see Rowan safe
where I
and
am just
sound.
not the type of
But only
person
4 of us in this world.
to
We will have
to really
muster
be going
everything we
through
have.
this main story.
I mustn't let devastation take this land once more.
And honestly, I
The
am
remedy
more
to
just
certain
pot
doom
committed,
lies sleeping in the
to use a
terrace
poker
ruins.
term, and
But I should tread carefully.
that's why I'm
Forming a
sticking with the
true
main
understanding
story.
of this realm
Otherwise,
and its inhabitants will be
on my
key.
own personal
This
choice, I
might
would have
temper
given
makes
up
matters worse.
probably by this point. Like, I want the abridged version of this story. That's all I really want. Which I guess you could probably get just by clicking the information buttons and not actually doing the main story sections. But you're gonna kind of have the story shoved in your face to some level, even if you just try to play the battles to get the gold.
How did Meowskers operate this thing before?
Now I just hold the slate here, and voila!
If memory serves correctly, he held it like so. Very well.
Of course, it's not going to animate that.
Is it working?
Access point detected. Check-in key complete.
Thank goodness.
So it does seem like they just have to stand in a specific place.
Sienna Moon 14th, 284 PHR. Author, MBM Tech Read.
Is this thing, like, recording yet? Woohoo! My first live stream. Oh, this is so boss. I'm in the 8th ward right now, ROFL, right? And I'm a 3rd-tier citizen. Cray. My 2-digi boyfriend took me on a vacation to Central Tower. Yay, but you can't go inside, apparently. Oh, it was huge, though.
So there is a central
But the
tower,
8th ward
like
cafeteria is
in the
no
previous
joke.
world.
It's like so big, you could get lost for days. Did you even know that we have an ether shortage here? Wish we could get that
And they're
Virgo
saying
mechanism
Aether
thing
too.
back home too.
Is this how the ancients spoke? It is rather reminiscent of Latica.
I used to live in the 107th ward. Yeah, I was like a 3-digi or whatever, but that's where the Twister set down. You guys remember that? This place is so peaceful compared to home. Freak out! Look at the time! Really need to end the stream, guys. Thanks for watching my first one ever. Remember to like and subscribe. Can't wait to read all of your comments. Over and
See,
out.
this kind of just feels like a parody. And I don't know if this is
Audio
actually what was said in the original Japanese or
Is that
what.
all? I did
It really
not foresee
doesn't.
this being so difficult. I could barely understand that person's words.
Doesn't really give any information.
But I distinctly heard the phrase Virgo mechanism. Haven't I heard that somewhere before?
If you will, allow me to provide a brief explanation about the Virgo mechanism. You see, fundamentally, it's a set of energy distribution processes that work to bring modern comforts into our everyday lives.
This may well warrant a deeper look.
Hey, honeydew. You interested in the ancients too?
Latica.
So I
Where
guess
did you come
Latica
from?
probably has a lot of crystals, or has
Treetops
heard a
is
lot of
kinda my
them.
thing, but never mind me. Maybe we should take care of these creepers first.
Multiple creepers? I only see one. Okay.
My apologies. I was so absorbed in thought I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings.
It's okay. Happens. Wanna cream them now? I'll help.
Indeed. It would be most prudent to cream them.
Yeah. I suppose it is true that if someone could access just random YouTube videos or random
It seems they
podcasts in
can manage.
general from hundreds
Thank
of
you for
years
your help.
ago, your odds are
Both did good.
particularly low that there would be
It
anything
truly is uncanny.
relevant or useful
What
to
is-
ascertain from that was
Sorry,
random.
I was referring to your manner of
broadcasts.
speaking. Your words greatly resemble those of the ancients.
good. Glad it's coming across that way. They're my inspo, after all.
Latica, does that mean you know about Natera's past?
Maybe a little, like how Viridian Momna got all mad and destroyed everything.
Mad, you say?
Well, yeah. The ancients pissed her off somehow. That's how the stories go, at least.
And what do you make of those stories?
I decay. My job's to fight, not think. Boss man asked you to poke around here, didn't he? So, like, he clearly knew you had the smarts to figure things out yourself.
It does kind of feel like all the characters in this
course.
world are
Forgive me.
fairly
I'm
dumb.
anxious to find a solution.
Oh, mood. For sure. And you can rest your pretty little head, honeydew. Not all of the ancients talked like I did. You'd get bored of your little job real quick if they did.
You do not tire me at all, Latica. There are few with your kindness.
Really? I guess it's your smile
Although,
that
in all
brings out the
fairness,
best
I
in
would
me.
also say that
I
the way
dig it
she
so.
talks is kind of annoying too.
You dig it? You've said that before.
But we've
Is
stopped
this a
having
phrase used by the
multiple
ancients?
voice actors
You nailed it.
do
It means
lines for
to
her,
find one alluring.
but
I see.
she is too
I must say,
prim
that
and
does
proper.
make me a bit embarrassed.
Ha! Yeah.
But she
Your
works.
face is totally red.
Her voice
I'll
has
let you off easy this time. You've still got stuff to do.
has
and all.
worn on me.
Speaking of which, you got some exploring to do, yeah? Head 7 tree lengths that way toward Equus Major. You'll run across some super old ones.
There we had another frame drop as
I
the
shall go there immediately.
text is
Wish I could
loading.
join you, but duty calls. Sure sucks, but maybe next time.
It's all
I
right.
don't know what a
You have been
tree
more than
length
enough
would
help
be.
already.
Also,
Oh, right. One more thing. There's another place you could get your study on called Asylum, but you should steer clear there.
we've heard Asylum being mentioned.
Asylum? What a peculiar name. Where is it exactly?
Which Asylum might be where a bunch
Follow
of
Galliocado Major
survivors.
12-ish tree lengths and you'll be there. You'll know you've arrived when swarms of crazy blighted things are trying to eat you alive.
is
That's because
Gallicardio
Viridian
Major
Momna is
a
especially vigilant protecting that area. Ever since
is that a
before my
star?
Gran and Gramps were born, this big ass spirit's been there just being a guard dog. Get too close and you'll wind up like. That's assuming you get close though. First you gotta get past a barrier and who knows how to open it. Yep, definitely a no-go zone.
I shall bear that in mind.
Well then, catch you later, honeydew.
yeah.
Asylum.
What would a
The
tree
thought
length
intrigues me. It
be?
would not be prudent to endanger
Because
myself.
one assumes the trees are not
I shall
all
go
the
to
same
the
height
ones
or the
Rydo
same
recommended.
width.
Now, Equus Major is that way.
How would she know? Yet, Letica just gave her really awful instructions. It would have been easier for her just to point. If you go that way, point in that direction, past 12 trees, you'll hit something. If you go this way, past 100 trees, you'll hit something. Also, 12 tree lengths, unless the tree length is super, super long, it wouldn't really be that far. So, unless it was the tree length is like the width of this giant tree, but then that reference point would also not make any sense. It's also, I guess, worth mentioning that while there is this giant tree in the middle of this map, we have not had a single subchapter actually take place near the giant tree, which makes it feel like they ran out of budget, frankly. Yeah. You know, this world kind of looks like it could be the world that the Blade Rights were in also. The sitting on the waterfall. It would be kind of crazy if all the worlds were actually the same world. They were just in different time zones, like
Just a little
time
further,
frames.
I imagine. What's this?
And here's the
A
spoiling
remnant of the
surprise.
ancients, no doubt.
You have
It
a
resembles a small person.
robot that looks a lot like Roly-Poly Mark 1.
And it's holding a staff. How curious. No, I mustn't lose focus.
It's still very
Sorry to
possible,
leave you
though,
here,
that this
friend.
isn't the same world.
Perhaps I shall find a response here.
Access points detected. Check-in key complete. Beginning hollow memory playback.
So now we're gonna
Author,
get
Gerard L. Vaindish.
like a whole
Recorded on Yellow
video.
Moon 21st, 287 PHR, number 1.
Is this thing on? Can I talk now?
And that looks like a different
What
kind
is
of
this
outfit.
sorcery?
Oh, seriously, Mom? You know we don't have credits, and buying a hologrammer? Oh, you've really put us out now.
An intangible view of another time. Some form of phantasmagoria?
All I
Big
do is
word.
talk, and this thing will start broadcasting, right? Not like I have much to say. This is so stupid. Anyway, I'm just living the regular life of a Magicore technician. Go to work, come home, and wolf down a NutriCube before hitting the hay. Not enough money for much else.
Wonder if
I'm
PHR
the
is
lowest rung of
post
the corporate ladder,
like
but hopefully
human
they'll move to the
rebellion?
research facility at Centralis soon enough. I've at least got job security, you know.
or post
Starting to sound like there's not enough NutriCubes to go around, though.
humanoid
Well,
rebellion?
guess that's to be expected.
That wouldn't
Since
make
we're
sense.
having ether shortages and all. Oh, wait, did you send me this hologrammer because you were worried I was getting thinner? Well, as you can see, I've still got some of my baby fat, so there's nothing to worry about, right? Guess that's good for now. Bye, Mom.
Feels like some of this dialogue,
End recording.
was just written
It
to
was easier to
waste
parse than the
time.
other ancient, but there were still many terms I have never heard before.
Once again, it feels like
Corporate ladder?
they had just like
Sounds gruesome.
a
I
third-party
feel I've learned
company
something more from
that they
this
hired
recording.
out to write this story,
However,
and that third-party company had to have had contracted out to
before I
write
can
a
go
certain number of
further, it
words
seems I must
or
handle
another
this
certain number of
unexpected guest.
letters, and thus they've thrown in some very basic,
Once
very
an
generic
innocent beast,
uh,
and as such, it pains me to take your life.
story
Please
or
forgive me.
dialogue. Where I would much prefer the story to just get on with it. We know there's only 10 or 11 chapters here. There isn't
Pray
time
find
to
peace, noble creature.
meander about
I
with
wonder if he, I
unimportant
believe Gerard is what he called
broadcast.
himself, made other recordings.
Voice command accepted. Searching for records authored by Gerard L. Vaindish. Please wait. Search complete. Please move to the designated access point.
A ray of light. It seems to have understood my command. I suppose I should try following it.
But unless she got incredibly lucky
Access
here,
points detected.
and
Checking
Gerard
key complete.
eventually became
Beginning hollow memory
a
playback.
important employee,
Author Gerard L. Vaindish. Recorded on Blue Moon 4th, 287 PHR, number 2.
I finally have something to talk about. Guess I'll send you another holo. Today we had an emergency work order, so from tomorrow I'll be posted directly in Centralis.
It seems to be a series.
To call in an ordinary technician like me, they must be struggling to find people. Bet they've started up a new project. At least I'll get a raise. But working in Centralis means I'll get to use a transporter. I'll be able to enter the first ward. I won't have to worry about the morning rush on the Magiliner.
they're throwing out a lot of jargon
Until the last
and a
minute.
lot of
It feels
backstory.
So great. Guess it's been a while since I've shared some good news. Whoops, gotta go. End recording.
Playing next hologram. Author, Gerard L. Vaindish. Recorded on Blue Moon 11th, 287 PHR. Number 3.
That seems like that's just a week later.
Centralis is amazing! Honestly, it's just the best. They've got all the latest Magitech, including personal Maginuros
seems
for everybody.
fairly
I'm so glad I got
boring
transferred here.
to really just be
Company
shown
cafeteria doesn't just
a
sell
hologram
nutrition.
of this guy
No,
instead
they've
of
got
being
actual
showing
fresh food.
the
They harvest it from the indoor garden.
entire world that
This
he is
definitely
living
the
in.
life of a first warder. No, someone better than that. We don't have to worry about the ether shortage here at all. I love this life. That and, this probably doesn't matter, but, I've got a really cute coworker named Yulika. If I say that, I bet you'll start pestering me to have kids, won't you? Oh, never mind. Forget I said anything. I'll delete this broadcast before you have a chance to see it anyway. End recording.
Well, he didn't delete it, which implies that the world ended somewhere
I am beginning to understand the
short
lifestyle the
after that.
ancients must have led. They created an advanced civilization, basing their lives around tools of convenience, like this slate. Everything seems wonderful, at least on the surface.
This is
But this
definitely
whole
the life of a first
story
warder. No,
is
someone
really
better
just
than that.
boiling down
We don't
to
have to worry about the ether
Eris
shortage here at all.
like
I love
doing
this
nothing
life.
other than watching
The Eighth Ward
TV.
cafeteria is no joke. It's like so big, you could get lost for days. Do they even know that we have an ether shortage here? Wish we could get that Virgo mechanism thing back
Now we're
home,
getting
too.
flashbacks to previous sections.
Ether, or what the people on my world would call mana. They experienced a shortage. But I still need more information. Please guide me to the next location.
And see, there's a problem now with the fact that this
Search
crystal,
Please move to the designated access point.
this crystal would have been really useful in the previous episode when they were talking about a crystal that was sparkling and full of mana. And in that previous episode, they just didn't show it. They just had animations of sparkles. So, seems like they were late on the budget. And I assume that these crystals here are supposed to be kind of a pointer in the shape of a crystal of mana.
The next one should be in this area.
It also, once again, becomes
Access
weird
point
that they
detected.
call
Checking key
the mana in the
complete.
actual collectible
Beginning hollow memory
game
playback.
play points instead of
A new
calling it
recording.
mana.
I wonder what could be stored here.
Author, Gerard L. Vaindish. Recorded on Violet Moon 20th, 287 PHR. Number 4.
It's gotten chilly these last few days, so don't forget to pay your heating bill, Mom. It's not healthy to sleep in the cold. Not sure when you'll see this, though. Might be warm by the time you do. From now on, I should be able to send you a few more credits every month. Oh, I also found out more about my next transfer. It'll be next month, during White Moon. I'll be
That's
joining the Virgo
apparently
Mechanism operations team. They
trying to
just
teach us
established
a
it here at
whole
Centralis.
month system.
The Virgo mechanism is that machine we built in the tower, the one that produces ether. You've heard of it, right, Mom?
The Virgo mechanism. If they were relying on this device to produce mana, then was their mana shortage also due to some sort of failure?
It's an important post, they said. But that just means I can't slack off. Yeah. Make sure you buy a new heater. I'll send the money for it. Oh, I almost forgot. That jacket you sent me, it's really flashy. You want me to wear it and go on a date with Yulika, don't you? I love you, but seriously, mind your own business. We've been eating lunch together, and that's enough for right now. So don't expect... you know what? That's it. End recording.
Thus completes another journey into the past. Sorceress device, will you guide me to the next location?
Voice command accepted. Searching for records authored by Gerard L. Vaindish. Please wait. Access point detected. 3 files remaining for Gerard L. Vaindish. Begin playback.
Please.
Voice command accepted. Beginning hollow memory playback. Author, Gerard L. Vaindish. Recorded on Violet Moon 28th.
Yeah, she really is just doing nothing.
Number 5.
It's just text.
Today was my first day seeing the Virgo mechanism with my own eyes. It was so weird. It looked like a woman. A living woman. I thought maybe one of my colleagues had put on a costume to roast me or something. That wasn't the case, though. Anyway, the head engineer insists it's just a machine that makes ether. And who knows, maybe I'm just being delusional.
So maybe this is a case
Even though it was
that one of the keepers had been captured and they were sucking the magical energy out of her.
The boss gave us a long spiel about it, but the gist is we're going to be in charge of making a new energy assimilator.
It did kind of seem like Belphomet was doing something like that too, but I don't think he actually was.
Natural disasters and food supply issues too.
It'd also be weird though if it turned out it was Larissa and Nexus.
I overheard a little of their plans, but these changes sound, well, a little too extreme, if you ask me.
What? Viridia Magna?
You see, Viridia Magna designed this world, populated it with life, and breathed ether into its roots.
That's weird storytelling, though. To have her called Viridia Magna, then over time it translating over to Virgo mechanism, then translating back to Viridia Magna. That doesn't make any sense. Sure, words change and evolve, and it was fairly obvious, I think, to everybody.
Oh crap.
That
Mom, Yulika's calling me. Why right now? Sorry, Mom. Holler you later. End recording.
Yeah, I don't know.
Using technology to force the Virgo mechanism.
It was fairly obvious that that was what it was going to happen. And that was going to be what occurred.
Well, yeah. The ancients pissed her off somehow. That's how the stories go, at least.
Could this be the reason she destroyed the world? Sorceress device. Unleash the next recording.
I guess the question would be, how much life can Viridia Magna actually sustain? Because it seems like she can't even sustain a small forest worth of life now. So she must be getting really weak.
We've got a new project advisor guy helping us out. They say he's got unreal engineering skills with Magitech. I won't ever get to work with him, but I still get to see how effective his leadership's been. At this rate, we might get the assimilator running by next
Be funny
month.
if this new guy is Belphomet.
It's just... Mom, I feel weird about it. Should we really be messing with the Virgo mechanism like this? I can't help but have doubts, you know? Everyone keeps telling me it's just a dumb piece of Magitech. But when you look into her eyes, its eyes, you can't help but think there's emotion behind them. But I guess we have to keep trying. After it's up and running, it'll all be worth it. Imagine the bonus I'll get. It'll be more than a low-level technician like me could ever dream of.
I guess there's kind of a sub-story here of
she wants to see the stars.
Capitalism, like late-stage capitalism, going too far, destroying the world.
Not even first-tier citizens can afford it, you know? If this goes well, then I should be able to take her to see the night sky as many times as she wants.
For a second there, I thought they were introducing the idea of a space travel element.
Okay? End recording.
Which honestly wouldn't be a terrible idea to have an episode where they end up in space.
If you would, sorceress device.
She's not even... They don't even have her walking to other access points anymore.
Recorded on White Moon 17, 287 PHR, number 8.
Number 8? The previous recording was 6.
Damn it all. We shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't have messed with her.
Yeah, I don't know what adding space elements would really do though, because you just have a bunch of spaceships and a bunch of aliens.
The hour of devastation.
It's too late. We shouldn't have modified the Virgo mechanism. We were wrong. We were so wrong. If only I'd said something sooner. I'm sorry I can't show you the stars, Utica. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a better life, Mom.
This is a
Sorry, Mom.
just terrible way to tell a story. This is something that would work in a book. It doesn't work in a visual novel and a video game. I don't think Gerard is going to end up as a card.
Please, Sorceress Device, continue the phantasmagoria.
Hollow memory damaged. Playback failed.
Then, the 7th recording. Please, search for it.
Voice command accepted. Searching for Gerard L. Vandish's hollow memory. Record number 7. No data found.
What? And this
And see, if I had gotten this
is what remains
information,
of the history of Natera?
I would have jumped and just had
It
her
was a
searching
terrible fate
for
that you did not deserve,
the
Gerard. I will carry on your hopes and gaze at the
I keep
stars
wanting to
for
call him
you
Gerard,
and
but I
for
guess
you.
it's Gerard. How could you possibly care about the hologram of someone who died probably 1,000 years ago and seems to have died due to, in part, his own incompetence? That's a hard, tall order. But yeah, after I'd figured out
The ancients
that the
once used
Virgo
Viridium
mechanism
Magna as an
was
energy
Viridium
producing
Magna,
device, exploiting
I
it
would
to
have
build a
had it
burgeoning
immediately search for
civilization.
that. They took off the crystal here.
However, they lacked the ether
And
to
now she's
maintain
holding
their
a book.
degree of advancement. This pushed Viridium Magna beyond her limit, which in turn led to the destruction
I would
of
have
the world.
probably had the crystal search for Viridium
Driven mad
Magna
by the gluttony of her
as soon
children,
as I realized
she
it was
unleashed her
an
fury
interface
upon Natera, or so the records
incapable
show.
of searching.
But history is rarely so simple.
Beginning hollow memory playback. Author Gerard L. Vandish. Recorded on White Moon 17.
Remember, she just kind of
287
lucked into
Number 8.
Gerard's
Number 8.
recording.
The previous recording was 6. Then again, perhaps it is too early to draw any sort of conclusion.
Which at that point, that really does
Require
just
more
make the
knowledge,
argument that
which means
somebody is leading her around by the nose,
right,
some
one more thing.
element
There's
of
another
fate
place you could
or
get your study on called
the magical
Asylum.
god.
You should steer clear there.
Forgive me, Latika. If I am to bring salvation to Natera, I must understand its entire past.
There's no way you're going to be able to
I
accomplish
believe
that.
she's sent to follow Galio Cerdo Major. That should be in this direction.
How she knows any of that, I have no idea.
A powerful guardian is a good omen when you are searching
For a
forbidden
story that
territory.
wastes a lot of time
Make no mistake,
having
Beloved One,
pointless
you will
conversation
allow me to pass.
and just introducing pointless facts. They really dropped the ball as far as having a conversation between Latika and Eris where she actually pointed her in the direction of the different stars or landmarks so she actually knows how to go where she was told to go.
At this rate, it won't be long
Or you could have
before
had
all.
had her use the crystal to point her
Would mark
towards
devastation
the
for this
asylum.
land.
That would have worked also. And I assume that the blighted creatures are just errors because they messed with the Virgo mechanism.
I feel so faint.
So
Ouch, honeydew. You okay?
I guess the
Latika, you... why are you here?
Coinky dink. Well,
I lost my
I
train of
figured
thought
you'd come
there.
here after I told you not to.
Am I truly so predictable?
Without a doubt.
It's just, I must get to Asylum.
Okay, and why is that?
Life once flourished across this land, and its wellspring was located
Yeah,
here.
I suppose it could be the case that the
But now
blighted
nothing
creatures
remains,
are
not even the fragments of a
Verita
once
Magma's
advanced
new
civilization.
type of life form that she's trying to create
That and,
to replace the old life forms.
This probably doesn't matter, but, I've got a really cute coworker
But I
named
assume
Yulika.
that's not the game. That's not the...
And Yulika, she wants to see the stars. Not the ones we make with the projectors. The real ones in the sky.
Once again, we're getting flashbacks.
Stargazing tour's expensive. Not even first
Which
class
honestly,
citizens
if I'd
can afford it,
contracted
you know?
with a third-party
If this
company,
goes well,
and I said
then
you
I
have
should
to
be able
write
take
a
her
certain
to see
number
the
of
night sky as many times
sentences,
as she wants.
I would not be willing to count flashbacks
Untold sadness
as
cannot be allowed to
saying
rear its head
as
once
a
again.
saying the exact same thing.
Preach it. This should be handy then.
Of course, I guess you would need
Another sorceress
a
device?
good contract to make sure that they
Oh,
didn't
you've
pull
seen it
those
before,
kind of
haven't you?
tricks.
There are 3 of them altogether.
And with 2 already in my possession.
Yep.
A little
Now
surprising
you've
that
got 'em all. I've seen 'em work magic in the ruins around the forest, so maybe they'll do something even sweeter in Asylum.
I don't know why 3 would be the maximum of them.
You will not prohibit me from entering Asylum.
I mean, I've been told by Gran never to go there since forever, but you're grown, you know? That place might freak me out, but you didn't have the same upbringing I did, right? So, go ahead, shoot your shot. You know, if we're all gonna be destroyed, like, what can we do about it? Who's gonna stop Viridium Omna? But I won't keep you from exploring Asylum because, I love Naterra. And if you think you can find something to prevent the apocalypse, well, maybe you should try.
This is another great example of where her having the weird way of talking just hurts her from being relatable.
Asylum's just ahead. I'll wait here while you check it out.
And I almost wonder if
I shall return
they're
when I
ever
can.
talking this way because when they made the voice effects
do
for the
it.
card,
But I couldn't. What I was afraid to do.
they had her kind of talk
What
like
can we
that
do?
also.
Can you really save Naterra? Either way, just make it back from Asylum first, okay?
Definitely having a case where characters are just coming in and then disappearing, coming into a story and then disappearing. It's not particularly great.
This is the barrier.
And once
I
again,
must
it's
steel myself for what
a
lies
story
ahead.
where they
Asylum
walked
awaits.
around to a lot of places
Now you've caught
when
'em all.
you really
I've seen 'em
didn't
work
need
magic in
to
the ruins around the forest, so
have the
maybe
character
they'll do
walking
something even
around,
sweeter in Asylum.
particularly when she just stood in one place a lot of
Sorceress
times to
device. Grant me entry into Asylum.
Voice command accepted. Welcome to Centralis, Asylum Sector. Scanning parameters. Complete. Beginning mind transfer.
oh, this is gonna really suck if
What is
all of a
happening?
sudden she has like all the
Uploading
memories.
consciousness. Mind transfer complete.
So-
1,002,001,900 nodes uploaded to Centralis, Asylum Sector database.
This is Asylum?
So it's like a
Welcome,
matrix.
Administrator. As a fresh transfer to Centralis, please watch this video, which will provide more context for your work on the Virgo mechanism.
Please watch this
Note,
video.
however, that this information is classified. Enjoy.
It's just gonna show us a video, I
Once
bet.
upon a time, in our world of Naterra, the citizenry lived in fear of both beast and spirit.
Is it gonna show us a
Our
video
people were
or not?
weak against the claws and fangs of the animals, small compared to the fury of nature and its spectral representatives. It was an epoch of massive suffering. That is until a lone girl, distraught and clinging to a starving friend, looked up to the stars and made a wish. She asked for a way, any way, to save her friends, her family, and all the peoples of the world.
And
to
then
deliver them from their suffering.
Nexus
A
appeared.
wandering mage appeared before her, having heard her call. He bestowed upon her the power to link man, beast, and spirit. A power he called Ether.
I kind of wondered
This
if,
is Viridian
like,
Magnus' origin.
all of the
The
worlds
people
were
forged
going to
bonds
end up
with
being in a
spirits
virtual
through
reality.
gaining
I guess
bounty and
they've
strength.
kind of ruined that
They
idea
now
though,
had the
because the
means
idea
to
of a
survive.
virtual reality inside of a
However,
virtual reality is too
the girl's
complicated for
newfound powers
this game.
morphed her mortal flesh, and her body became an ethereal vessel, akin to that of a spirit. With great respect and
So
gratitude for
she
her
became a
sacrifice,
vessel for
the
some
peoples
keeper.
of Natera raised
It
their
seems like.
prayers and called her spiritual form into the trunk of a sacred tree. The brave girl had been deified as a mother goddess. Eventually, she became known as Viridia Magna, the abundance of life incarnate, and the eternal protector of Natera. That concludes our video. We hope it was
Which was not a video.
I see now.
You see, Viridia Magna designed this world, populated it with life, and breathed ether into its roots. No one knows whether she created us directly, but that doesn't change the fact that we owe her
So I guess that
everything.
means she is in the big giant
Not
tree.
even Leon knew about this. What else could be hidden here? Please search for Gerard's records.
Voice command accepted. Searching for records authored by Gerard L. Vaindish. Please wait.
Apparently there was only one
Search
person by the
complete.
name Gerard.
Accessing voice data. Author Gerard L. Vaindish. Recorded on White Moon 10th, 287
There we had another
PHR, number 7.
lockup.
It's the missing recording.
Mom,
I have
something
no
terrible's
idea
happened.
why it locks up
I'm not
when
even sure how to explain
displaying the
it.
text.
Screw it, I'll start from the beginning. So we finished the new energy assimilator according to plan, but when we tried to hook it up to the Virgo mechanism,
His background
oh boy.
is pretty bad.
At first, things looked all right. The ether absorption rate was off the charts, but then the Virgo mechanism went into sleep mode. It was like watching a tree wither up and die in a matter of seconds. All of its power gone, just like that. The Virgo mechanism wasn't just a piece of magitech made to produce ether. We've been tricked by Centralis this whole time. Its real name is Viridia Magna, and we've been keeping it locked up in the basement of the tower, just wringing ether out of it for decades.
Does
The
he do
adjustments we
anything
made
to
her,
free her?
It's like it cut off her source or something. She's not putting out energy at all.
They completely exhausted her power.
The advisor, the guy who originally gave us the plans for the assimilator, he's nowhere to be found. So no one can stop what's happening. Just like management to leave when the going gets tough.
The advisor,
He had
probably
nerve
the
to call
same
himself
keeper.
The messenger of our keeper, whatever that is.
Did he say keeper? Could it be?
Oh, Mom, do you understand how bad this is? Sure, we've got some ether stored up for a rainy day, but who knows when we'll run through it all. The Magitech trains, the air filters, our entire civilization's going to crumble.
The
I've heard
question
there are
here
mobs heading to the tower to get into the ether reserve.
is that
They say riots have sprung up all over as people compete for food.
if it was a keeper that caused
Mom,
this
we
first
gotta find shelter, okay?
cataclysm,
I'm not sure how much longer things will be safe
once
back
again
home.
it's just an
Please,
example of the keepers
please look
being
after yourself.
not effective in actually destroying a world completely. Because
Natera's
they didn't
destruction
kill
was not
everybody.
brought by Viridia Magna's wrath after all. They drained her of all ether, causing her to fall into a slumber. Then riots arose as a result of diminishing resources, with famine and larger conflict occurring not long after. And behind it all, ever pulling the strings from the shadows, was another keeper.
Which seems to be the new method of operating.
Voice command accepted. Beginning mind transfer.
I don't understand
Armed with the truth of this world, I
why
must make
there would be a
haste,
barrier
lest the mistakes of the past
around
are repeated.
Asylum if all you really needed to do is transfer your brain into Asylum. What is Asylum in the real physical world? Is it just a giant central tower of Magitech, or is it a giant server, like computer setup, or what? What is the barrier actually physically protecting? Apparently it teleported her further away.
Finally, I have returned. I must hurry to Balion.
And I'm not sure she can't just
Latika.
teleport herself anyways.
Honeydew, think the forest spirits are back, girl?
Latika, I have learned the history of your world. Viridia Magna did not destroy it.
So it'd be funny if it
For real?
turned out she was the bad
ancient ones
guy.
themselves brought about their own demise. Or, more accurately, they were manipulated by a keeper. So we...
Hold that thought, Honeydew. We got company.
She's here!
Stoneclaw, say your final prayers!
I don't know why any
Oh,
radical
the
would
party started then.
try and fight them.
What? What do you mean?
After you left, Viridia Momna started roaring. You know, the omen that marks Natera's unmaking and all that.
Yeah, I still don't know why these guys are bothering to fight
It's
with
like they say she'll
Stoneclaw.
roar 4 times and then kaput, lights out. So both sides are just settling their differences while they can, you know?
Seems so dumb.
Mustn't be this way.
It seems like neither one of them got
No,
anywhere
those
close
pickled guys.
to Viridia Magna. Like we have no idea where in the world it even is.
Fine, let's go find Balion and Valdane and tell them what's up.
Which, in all fairness,
Will we
if
make
there
it in
was a
time?
power in
We will.
the world,
You made it back from Asylum, right?
there's a
Honeydew?
good
This'll
chance
be
that
cake in
most
comparison.
people would never even know about that
Hey,
that
you
power or
gotta
that
intimidate
force,
us.
or reach it in
Yeah.
time.
We won't let you go after Lord Valdane!
Know why they call me the Stoneclaw?
So we've got a
Guess you'd have to be as dumb as rocks to fight me.
custom CG with Stoneclaw for a second there.
Latika, I have never seen such aggression.
Don't sweat it. Anybody who's dumb enough to face me pretty much deserves a good pummeling, you know? I'm not the sharpest spear in the armory, but there's only one thing we're focusing on right now.
She
Saving
does
the
seem to
Terra.
not particularly
Except for me,
slash them to
Honeydew.
death, where those
Thank
claws
you for coming around,
do feel like
Latika.
you could pretty much
My pleasure. I'll break as
rip
many faces
people
as
to
it takes
shreds.
to get you to Balion and Valdane.
Instead, she seems to enjoy blunt force trauma, or inflicting blunt force trauma on her victims. And that is weird. That is definitely weird that is where that ends. So I really thought we would see some kind of indication of Tetra and the other robots being in the same world. So I'm a little surprised by that, and I'm still not 100% sure I don't believe it. I also will mention that, yeah, Tetra does not really stand out that much as a robot. She needed something very mechanical and very robotic as far as her appearance. Mono, on the other hand, looks very robotic, and Anemia has a robotic wing, so that would be believable. But Tetra, she could easily have just been a human in this world. And then why is the summary here really just a summary of what happened at the end of Gears of Rebellion? showing us Belphemont, who plays no role whatsoever in this story. And so next, they respond to Tetra's plea for help and cross worlds. However, Orisa, Erica, Rowan, and Eris arrive in another land, Netera, which pays homage to the goddess Viridia Magna. However, she is on a rampage and threatens the land with annihilation. Its inhabitants either accept a fate or seek to bring the goddess down. These philosophies split them into two factions, Megarmor or Skull. Orisa and the others try to stop the downfall of Netera. So, yeah, that summary makes it feel like that episode 8 here, Seeds of Conflict Harrowing, is just going to be the wrap up for episode 7, which really just kind of leaves us wondering like what happened here, because the story didn't end. Let's see. And I just forgot it. Like, that would be crazy if that didn't happen. Cornered by the rebellion instigators and consumed by madness, Belphemont calls the Keeper of Purgation Nerva. Yeah, the story didn't really end. They weren't defeated. Belphemont wasn't defeated. So, either Belphemont has to show up as a surprise enemy who wouldn't really be that much of a surprise in this chapter, or Invasion of the World Reaver has to somehow combine the characters back together, or something else equally unpredictable has to happen. For those stories, I don't know, I think we are somewhere around the 7.4 to 7.6 on all 4 of those chapters for that episode. It's kind of plateaued, I would say. There wasn't anything great there, other than the fact that there was less repeated content, and less drawn out content in general, because you only had 4 leaders that were going through the story. But there still was kind of a huge amount of repeated and drawn out content in flashbacks and in character stories not really mattering, to the point where I really don't even remember what Orisa's story is, and Erica's story I don't think really mattered. It really was just Rowan's story and Eris's story that kind of mattered, and Rowan's story only mattered because it revealed a few secrets about the main bad guy of the Magnagar, and I don't know if that even really matters. Yeah, we've opened another pack to celebrate, and we had one of those, I think. And we definitely had one of those, 3 of those, and definitely have 3 of those. Springwell Dragon Keeper. Discard a card and deal 4 damage to an enemy. Activates when both a targetable card is in your hand and a targetable enemy follower is in play. Enhanced gain +3/+3. I may only have like 2 copies of this one. I may only have 2 copies of that, but that's probably the 3rd. Here we have another Cat Tuner, which is probably our 2nd or 3rd copy of that. Here we have our 3rd Whiplash Imp at least. Here's probably our 5th or 6th Dragon Spawning. And then this is probably our 3rd to 6th Powerlifting Puppeteer. Alright. 354 more card packs would need to be opened before tradables would be really doable. And it feels like if that was going to be the idea, there should be some way to open up the tradables here. Although it may not really matter in the classic cards because I have one temporary of all the classic cards anyway, so going back and doing this. Ooh, and this is interesting. This reveals that Yuan's Portalcraft class was not in the classic card expansion, so can we... Yeah, he was not in this expansion either, and Darkness Evolved. I have one of each. Rise of Baphomet. I have one of those, and he was not in that expansion either. Tempest of the Gods. I have one of every one of those, and he wasn't in that one. I have one of the Wonderland Dreams cards. Does that mean I perhaps have one of every single card in these expansions? I don't think so. That'd be kind of silly. Why would they even let you buy packs at that point? Starforged. Still no Yuan Portalcraft class. And Starforged does kind of feel like it would be a space style cards. You have cards and characters based off of like star bodies. So Chronogenesis. So it wasn't until Chronogenesis that they had introduced Portalcraft, which that effectively means somewhere around the first year or year and a half. And all the old expansions, I do have a temporary version of all those cards, which is a nice little reward for new players, and I guess helps a little bit around the idea of playing unlimited. Plus it doesn't really hurt Shadowverse and their monetization method by much, because I imagine most new players won't bother to try to play unlimited, even if you do give them a bunch of free legendary cards. So I wanted to see something here with Laetitia. Latica. Let's see. So we have Intertwined Resolve, which is Orisa and Latica cards.
Time to break some faces. Time to break some faces.
So if this was the only voice line that was recorded before the main story was voice acted and written,
time to break some faces.
You just need that voice actor to say that line. That doesn't really inherently mean she has to talk weird the whole time. If you look at the card text here, guess I'll fight or whatever. Honestly, I've got better things to be doing, but hey, maybe there's something all this hope stuff Chickadee's been going on about. At least I'll look cool. Like, I guess if this was written before the main story, then this probably does completely influence the way she talked in the main story. But this is pretty bad writing. I wonder if there's fairly bad writing for some of the other characters. Well, other ones you have just kind of like descriptions instead of lines of dialogue. Right, here's a line of dialogue. I'm gonna fight too. Wars are filled with pain and sadness, and they make you want to run away. Still, I won't turn back. Not ever. I might have shown up here on accident, but that doesn't matter. I really love this world. And honestly, that might be as much main story as you actually need to tell in any case. And let's see if there's another Latica card. to mention here. Yeah, here we have Atletica Stoneclaw. While she is a character, unless I spent almost all my vials, I don't have her, so I can't see what line of dialogue she would have. And apparently it's just question mark, question mark, question mark until you get anything more. Interesting. And even cards that are standard cards you do have, you can't see until you own the base card in this detail screen. And I imagine that's the only Atletica card. However, like when you have these promo cards, like, well, right now the promo cards are all in Japanese. I wonder if they'll bother to turn them. Like, I wonder if they will ever bother to translate this to English. Okay, well, what else is there to say? With any hope, we are 2 episodes and 3 hours away from being done with the main story, although there is still a high chance, or at least a chance, that we're actually not anywhere close to being done, because Invasion of the World Reaver chapter 9 through 14 might indicate that there's actually a lot more. We still haven't gotten anything new as far as a crate. I don't think we probably ever will. And there's really not a lot more to do other than potentially try to play ranked and unranked games and just work on that. I've finally caught up as far as all the side things, the arena runs and the quest missions. I guess as soon as we do finish the main story, though, we also have attempts that need to be taken against the practice characters, and I probably will just give it the college try there, and we'll try each of the main leaders, and on their easiest mode, if we can't beat them on the easiest mode, then we give up. If we can beat them on the easiest mode, then we move up to the next easiest mode, and so on and so on and so on, until we can no longer feel like we have a chance of winning. And then that'll be it for all the very long onboarding process of this game, and I'll just be down to my average Monday, Wednesday, and Friday streams. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.